This week, RVers are perhaps some of the hardest people to buy gifts for, and we're going to talk about buying gifts for RVers. It's not really a gift guide, it's sort of a gift guide, but we're going to give you categories and ideas of gifts to buy for RVers here through the holiday season and beyond. This is RV Miles. Chances are you've seen them on the road. That's because Blue Ox designs and manufactures the best towing products in the industry. Just look around. You'll find them on highways and campgrounds and anywhere you find people traveling in the great outdoors. From award-winning tow bars and base plates to a full line of weight distribution hitches, adjustable ball mounts, and now they have fifth wheel hitches too. With Blue Ox, towing doesn't have to be a drag. Visit blueox.com for more information. The RV lifestyle is about community, and the RV community is at the heart of RV Life. RV Life recently celebrated the 1 millionth trip planned with RV Life Trip Wizard, their excellent trip planning tool for RVers, featuring all the trusted reviews, pictures, and tips from their RV Life campground site. RV Life also features several blog sites and over 20 additional RVing forums to serve the community. All this experience and community feedback come together to help create a fantastic RV trip planner and mobile navigation tool collectively called RV Life Pro. RV Life has marked a milestone of over 3 billion miles traveled using RV Life Pro with a B, counting both the planned RV trips and ad hoc navigation with the included RV Safe mobile app. Take 25% off RV Life Pro at the link in the description for this episode. Welcome to episode number 388 of RV Miles. I'm Jason.
And I'm Abby, and we are two RVers who, along with our three boys, have been crisscrossing all over North America on one epic road trip since 2016. Here at RV Miles, we talk all things RV and outdoors, from industry news to travel destinations, gift guides, national parks, and so much more.
We hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you celebrate, we took the week off, and we're happy to be back. We've missed you all. But we're happy to be here to be talking about more holiday fun again on this episode. But we want to start the episode as we have been with a news item. Thor Industries is sort of the largest RV manufacturer in the world. Thor Industries earnings report for the most recent quarter came out, and they just beat earnings expectations dramatically. It was like an expected loss of 11 cents a share, and they ended up with a 43 cents per share profit. So there's a clear picture that's starting to form, because Winnebago had a similar thing happen with their last earnings report as well.
Is there really a clear picture? Because this is the opposite of what everyone has been saying.
So what I'm starting to see is, so I've been following, these different earnings reports, and people like to say, oh, it's all marketing, but they by law do have to say truthful things. These are investor documents under SEC purview, right? This is not an area you mess around with much. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen sometimes, but the basic things, the number of units sold and that sort of stuff, it's pretty cut and dry. And following what the RV Industry Association is putting out in terms of the number of units that are being manufactured, which has remained fairly stagnant. But when you drill down into those numbers, you start to see something different, because there's a number of RVs that are made each year, right? But that doesn't tell you everything about the amount of money coming in, because what we've seen over the course of this big downturn in the RV industry, which is, it's been pretty severe, is not only the number of RVs being shipped and sold reducing from a norm of about 500, a high of 600,000, a norm of about 500,000, down to just above 300,000 in a year. That doesn't share the whole picture, because those individual units, they cost different amounts of money. A $400,000 motorhome is not the same thing as a $15,000 travel trailer. And when you drill down into the numbers over the course of the last 2 years, it has been a big dive towards the lower end units. There have been significantly more travel trailers shipped and sold. That number has been rising, while the number of motorhomes and fifth wheels and Class Bs, Class As in particular has gone down dramatically. And what we're starting to see now is, okay, the same number of RVs is really being sold and shipped and sold this year as were last year. But now we're seeing the RV manufacturers start to become a little bit more profitable. Not a ton, a little bit more profitable. And when you look at the shipment numbers, you start to see the picture that is starting to show is that motorhome sales, or at least shipments of motorhomes and fifth wheels, the more expensive end of the units out there, is picking up a little bit. Even though the number of units being made is about the same, the more expensive end of it starting to pick up a little bit. And not a little bit, a lot. Not back to normal numbers, but a lot. So I think what we're seeing is there's probably a lot of facets to it. Like, I don't think it's people are less price sensitive. I actually think it's the opposite of that. I think people want to buy something that is, let's take this with a grain of salt, it's the RV industry, but something that's going to last a bit longer. They want to invest their money into something that they're serious with, and not sort of, we've seen this over the course of the last couple of years, is the mid-range stuff has not been doing very well. Yeah, people are buying the low-end stuff. They want to get into travel trailers. We've seen at the Hershey RV show, I saw, several companies offering $9,999 travel trailers. And they're really trying to push that into the market. But I think the high-end stuff's coming back. That mid-range stuff it's still having a really hard time.
I wonder if the mid-range stuff is having a hard time because of the whole frame flex situation.
There could be a part of that. Yeah.
I think that some of that, because the narrative around that and the frame failures was focused very highly on fifth wheels with Grand Design. Those are mid-range. We're talking mid-range. Up to
higher end. Like,
yes.
And when we say higher end, mid-range, low end, whatever, we're just talking about the price here,
yeah, we're just talking about the price. And I wonder if, because that was so highly focused on fifth wheels in a particular price point, if that narrative spread wide and far and has deterred a lot of people from that particular market. And so then when you go to look at your price point, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm not going up into the $200,000-$300,000. I still need something for my family, but I'm very nervous about a fifth wheel right now. I'm going to look at the travel trailer, and travel trailers tend to be typically much cheaper than a fifth wheel. So then you're thinking, okay, well, now I'm just going to go ahead and get something entry level, and I'm going to wait for this whole thing to shake out. Another factor I'm wondering about as I'm listening to you talk is when we're talking about motorhomes and those kind of on the rise, I would be very curious over this last year to see how many people we have coming into retirement age, early retirement age. Not necessarily saying that Class A's only belong to people in retirement age, but those tend to be people who have a little bit more money to spend. If you've got people going and buying a $300,000 motorhome Class A, they tend to have a little bit more money to burn than someone who's going to buy the $9,999 travel trailer. So that makes me think that perhaps there is a little bit more of that at play, where maybe we're seeing some more people who have taken an early retirement, who have the time now to travel. Are we in a cyclical? Is this sort of cyclical? We've had motorhomes prices decreasing or sales decreasing for some time now. Are we sort of cyclical, where now we have another generation, another wave of perhaps people who are retiring and want to travel and a little bit more comfort and have longer trips? I don't know. I mean, these are, things that perhaps it's worth seeing if we can find demographics on stuff like that. But I do think that some of this is very cyclical. And I also think it's about the narrative around the industry. People do tend to think in all things, more money spent means better product.
Yeah, whether it's true or not. And this is sort of what I talked about in the video I just did about dynamic pricing, is that people will buy the highest price option if they can afford it. Often when it is a luxury item, just because it's the higher price option and they perceive that as a better value.
Yeah. And sometimes it is. I mean, there are a lot of things in life that, if you're looking for something that you want to last longer and you want to have quality, you spend a little bit more so that that piece is with you for a longer period of time. I mean, it's the difference between buying maybe IKEA and something, an IKEA dining table, and then something that was handcrafted. And, I mean, it'll be the difference as we get into it about talking about buying. When we get into our, super expensive item, buying the cheaper version of that versus what we're going to have on the gift guide.
And sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's just more stuff. Sometimes it's just they've crammed more gadgets and gizmos in more weight into the unit instead of actual quality.
But here, I mean, again, it seems very cyclical to me.
Yeah.
And I keep saying that word because think about all the decontenting we were doing. Was it 2 RV shows ago?
Yeah.
2024?
That's really when the latter half of 2023 is really when the bottom started to fall out. And then in 2024, it started to be like, well, people want something cheaper now. So we've been adding all these features. Now we got to rip them all out.
Yeah, no, we're going to get rid of the outdoor speakers and, all the little things that we could.
And we're going to save you $500.
Right. But we're going to tell you we're saving you tons more when it's literally we're saving, it cost us $10 to put these speakers in, but we're going to tell you you're saving $500.
But there was do you remember too, though, the couple years before the pandemic boom, 2018, 2019, the RV industry was starting to slump a little bit.
Yes.
And what we started to see is a focus on, believe it or not, quality. There was, and whether it's actual quality or perceived quality is 2 different things. But we were starting to see, manufacturers putting in rain bays and advertising their stuff based on ours is a better unit than theirs because it's better quality. I think, if we put the crystal ball on for next year, which we always do an episode on, so I'll kind of save this a little bit for next year, is I do think we're going to see some of that next year. I think we're already previewing that a bit when we see Grand Design's new frame, which is not just about the fact that they've had frame failures in the past. It's also about them saying, okay, we're going to try to be better than everybody else. I'm not saying that's the case, but hopefully next year, and whether it's some of it's just cosmetic or not, and some of it is real, we will see some manufacturers trying to sell you units based on some sort of quality upgrades.
Well, Florida RV show is going to show us a lot. Yeah. We're going to kind of get a really good idea of where the industry's at for 2026 here in just a few weeks. But I do believe, and this is across the board, and I think that we all would do well to remember that change takes time. So perhaps the industry is always listening. I know that we feel like a lot of you feel like they're not, but I can tell you that the industry is listening. They are reading what we write. They are watching what Jason is posting. They are listening to what you are commenting on. They are actively paying attention. Change, if they decide they want to make change, if change takes time. So in regards to some of these things that maybe we're seeing roll out, like this grand design, this new frame, whether or not that is the response to Frame Flex post it coming to light or them knowing before we all even knew there was perhaps going to be some issues with this frame, I don't know. But it's not a question of like, okay, we know there's a problem and 3 days later we're going to roll out a new frame and then everything. These things take time. Well, and we see changes, and some people are dragging their feet. There are a lot of people in this industry that are very desperate for progressing forward, for coming into, just trying to get into the 21st century. And there are others who are very old school, who are dragging their feet, that have to be drug along, kicking and screaming to get some of these changes made. And so I think you have a little bit of that at play.
Yeah. And that's at every level. It's at the manufacturers, it's at the dealerships, it's at the customer level.
And so I think we see, they try something, it doesn't work. They try something, it does work. And I think that, again, we're just seeing sort of like a constant rebooting of the industry every couple of years. It feels like
one of the biggest problems I see is that it's just, so much of it's anecdotal. You know, a manufacturer, I can't tell you how many times I've heard a manufacturer talk down about another manufacturer because
it's so
they don't. Well, they said I walked through their rigs while other people were walking through them, and I heard people complaining it feels like a hotel and not a home. Well, that's not so. There. What if more buyers want hotel-like and not home-like?
Yeah.
You can't use what one random person says. And that happens so often. They hear a dealer complains about XYZ, so they stop doing it. And you cannot do that. You have to use data. And they're not using data. I mean, I'm not saying they all don't, but there is a lot of stuff that is done based on anecdotal hearsay stuff and not this works, this doesn't.
I will tell you that it is a complete turnoff for me when an individual with a manufacturer or the manufacturer itself pulls crap like that, where they talk smack about other brands.
Yeah.
That's a complete turnoff for me because that's not where your focus should be. And frankly, it goes back to when I was complaining the other day about just never seen a group of collective consumers who want an industry to fail so much as it does seem like the comment section on YouTube when it comes to RVing. And I just want to remind manufacturers that you don't win when somebody else goes out of business or somebody else does bad. You don't win. No one has won over all of the controversy that has happened over frame flex. Nobody won there. It put the entire industry on blast. Like everybody.
Yeah, whether companies were having problems.
Whether they were having problems or not, it brought the whole thing into light, and they had to start dealing and fielding and answering questions that they frankly didn't want to have to deal, field, or answer because it didn't pertain to them. But because this one company in this one particular frame was having issues.
We still don't have hard data on any of that. I mean, we know people.
And we never will.
We've had these problems. We just don't know exactly how many and what other brands have dealt with it. Like it's really hard to. Even though there's still a lot of RVs built every year, the number of fifth wheels built, it's still a boutique number of units, right?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to drill down into X problem and Y answer.
Yeah. We could talk about this for a really long time, and we definitely need to move on. I feel like I say that every week. We got to move on. But this is one of those things when you look at units sold, when you look at the temperature of the industry, I think a lot of this is we're just moving in patterns, and the industry just kind of reinvents itself every couple of years. We were really hot on like less is more a couple years ago. Now maybe we're going to be a little bit more hot on focused quality, which some could try to say, well, that means you're going to have to pay more. I don't know that I believe that to be true, but there has always been the narrative that, if it costs more, it's better. We will see how that.
I mean, sometimes that's often the case.
It is often the case, but it's also abused to increase the price of something.
And it's a customer issue too. That there's a narrative that they're all built the same, and you might as well buy the cheapest one. And that is, not only is that not true, but that makes it's a self-fulfilling thing, because when that happens, then manufacturers don't have the incentive then to sell you, to spend extra money to sell you something a little more expensive that is better. But brands like Brinkley and Alliance, and yes, people still have problems with them, and some of the higher end stuff at Forest River and at Thor even, some of those brands have proven the longevity of somebody wants to spend a good amount of money on something that's going to last them a while. They'll spend it if they know that it's going to be quality. And we've got some of these great technicians out there doing content, getting in and explaining to you why X brand does this and X brand doesn't, and why that's good and why that's bad. And some of them are wrong. Some of these people are not experts at this. and so you got to take it with all with a grain of salt. But all of it is, all of it is helping. And that's good. So
absolutely. So somehow we got to hear when we started talking about Thor's earning expectations. See, we're really good at you just giving us a topic, and then we'll find ourselves down the road. Else. We will create our own path of discussion. So we're going to move away from that, and we're going to turn to something a little bit more exciting, and that is the joy of giving to others.
More in a moment, but first, this episode is sponsored by RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding. Get a real mattress for your RV instead of the cheap piece of foam that it came with at RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding. They sell real mattresses in all the odd sizes RVs require, like short kings, Olympic queens, odd bunk sizes, different thicknesses, and more. Their mattresses are toxin-free, made in their factory in Arizona, and shipped to you vacuum-sealed wherever you are. You just unwrap them and let them expand. They have a 120-night sleep trial, free shipping, and a limited lifetime warranty. But the best part is the RV Miles community gets 30% off, the best deal they ever offer, any day of the year with code RVMiles at RVmattress.com/RVMiles. That's RVmattress.com/RVMiles with code RVMiles at checkout for 30% off. Ever feel like finding the right RV part is like searching for a needle in a haystack? Enter eTrailer.com. Whether you're puzzled about which product is right for you or how to install it, eTrailer has got you covered. Their US-based customer service is available by chat or phone 7 days a week, and with expert Q&As, helpful articles, and tons of reviews and install videos, you'll tackle any RV problem with confidence. eTrailer strives to get their hands on everything they sell, and their website is full of overviews, reviews, buying guides, and tutorials. And it's not just RV parts, it's towing and vehicle accessories, camping supplies, and more. Head to the link in the description and get free shipping on orders over $99.
It's the holidays. It's time for gift giving if that is something that you partake in. And one of the things, Jason mentioned this at the top of the show, we get a lot of messages, even from like our old theater friends. We get a lot of messages
people
from
that
our theater
aren't
friends.
Involved in RVing at all. Maybe, but they've got parents that are, or something
friends,
like that.
Or, or they've met someone that, they're like, I'm dating somebody that's really into it, but they don't know what to get that person because, as you said, a lot of the gear that you buy for your RV is very personal.
Yeah. You don't want to like go buy somebody a set of sewer hoses, not just because that'd be weird, but also like it might not be the ones they want.
Right. I mean, I always think about, we really highly recommend a power watchdog, right? Like that's something that we will always recommend. And in the past, I believe we've put it on a gift guide. And over the years, I've thought to myself, that's not something I want someone buying me. Now, maybe if it was my partner.
Yeah. I mean, your partner would be different.
I knew,
yeah,
right. Like I knew Jason would want this power watchdog. But if I'm buying for a parent, if I'm buying for, a friend.
You don't know if they've already got one. You don't know if they've got.
You don't know if they got that sewer hose.
If there's a built-in surge protector, they might have wanted a different thing, and now they've got this thing that costs $300. They're not going to like return it and get another one. It's hard, all that sort of stuff. So we wanted to focus on stuff that like people wouldn't buy for themselves usually, and the sort of real crux of gift giving is giving something somebody is going to get excited by, and that they will love even if they didn't know they wanted it.
Yeah, just treating them to something that maybe they wouldn't treat themselves to. So let's start with cooking and food.
Yes. Yeah. So we obviously camp cooking is a big part of RVing, right? A lot of people just go out to eat. That's fine too.
Yes.
But cooking outside at the campground, it's a big part of the experience for a lot of RVers. So we've got a couple books we want to recommend. This one was my fresh tank recently, Project Griddle by Stephen Reichlin. And it is all about griddle cooking. So if you've got somebody that uses a griddle outside, this is going to be great for them. But also pretty much everything in here is easy to do on a frying pan inside, because what's a griddle other than a big frying pan. And it's a really great book. There's lots of great recipes. I've already cooked several of them, but this is also our 2026 mile marker cookbook. So every year for our mile marker members, our sort of paid support community, we choose a cookbook we all sort of casually cook out of. So just sort of share in the Facebook group our experiences cooking individual recipes over the course of the year. So that's this year's book. And last year's book is also a great recommendation. And this is Make It Easy by Danielle Walker.
So this was my pick for our community, mile marker community cookbook for 2025. And one thing that Jason and I, why we put cookbooks as great gifts, one of the things that we have learned over the few years, especially since we've really started getting into sort of collecting and purchasing of cookbooks, is that one or two good cookbooks in the RV with you, or one or two really good cookbooks that kind of easily translate to campground meals is very, very inspiring. It's really nice to have a cookbook on hand that you can do a recipe in, that you can write down notes. I go through all of my cookbooks, and when I cook something, for the first time, I date the day that I did it, and then I put notes at the bottom of the page. And what that does is it kind of helps me when I go back, like you can, for those of you watching, I'm going to just give a really quick. So here on, this was a day that we did a shredded beef recipe, and I went, and you can see right here, these are my notes. I dated it. And what I do is that helps me the next time I go to this to remember if I needed to alter anything. And a lot of times I will make these notes for camp related recipes. And we tried with mile markers and then even with gift giving to pick cookbooks that could be easily used at home if you split your time between RVing and your sticks and bricks. If you're a full-timer, that you can easily make these recipes out on the road at any time, and that are inspiring and kind of, but not hard.
Yeah.
None of these are going to be, especially in this Make It Easy. We haven't cooked through the griddle one yet, so I can really only talk about this, but I have done, and this was out on the road too. I did a count. I keep a count too in my cookbooks. Every once in a while I go in and I date how many I've done. I've done almost 50 recipes out of this cookbook this year. And many of them came with us on our trips, a lot of prepping. And so I just think stuff like this, things that maybe the RVer in your life wouldn't think about, and Make It Easy is for someone if they're paleo. I think it's a great gift to inspire.
This book is, so Danielle Walker is really mostly grain-free and dairy-free stuff. But what's great about this book is it's a lot of pre-making of food, freezing things, stuff, great things for, especially if you're going out on a trip and you want to pre-make some stuff to keep in your freezer.
It's cook
and have
one,
it ready
freeze one, essentially. So make one that you're having for dinner, and then you've made enough to freeze that other meal. And
you could cook 3 weeks before you go out on the road, and then you have the other end of it for when you go out on the road.
Or even when you come home, and you could probably do this with a lot of the stuff that's going to be in the griddle book too. What was really nice when we came back from that 8 weeks on the road was I had some meals in the freezer waiting for us. And so those first couple of days when you get back from the trip, it's nice to be able to pull that stuff out of the freezer.
That's a time period people don't talk about enough, because you get back from a long trip and then you end up eating out over and over and like having to do the big grocery shop and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And that was just a really great way to keep us from, eating, spending money and eating out, because we just been on vacation for 8 weeks. So we needed to get back into, we weren't on vacation anymore. We couldn't just be spending money. So something like that. And if you wanted to make it into a little bit more of like an overall gift for the RVer who enjoys cooking in your life, you could consider getting one of those Hedley and Bennett aprons if you're a fan of Great British Baking Show. It's the one with the little and symbol on it. It's super trendy and popular. It has been for years, but
I have one and it is fantastic.
Yeah, they're so nice.
And they have so many options. And it's not even just cooking aprons. They have like maker aprons as well. So whether you're like an outside cook, an inside cook, both, they have lots of options and you can personalize them as well. So this can be a really personal gift if you want to like get somebody's name stitched on it.
Or the name of if they've named their RV, or maybe they've named like what their, RV miles or something, and you could have that stitched on. And they're really, really sturdy. So they hold up RVing. We're always a little bit rougher with our stuff out on the road than we are at home. And so these are really hefty aprons that are going to hold up.
That's just something too that people, again, just don't buy themselves, is a really nice, expensive apron.
Yeah, because they have these, I'm really into the smock style apron, and they have one that I really like, but I was like, I literally said the other day, I'm not going to spend that money to buy my
mine was
apron.
A gift from, I'm Midwestern, so I have to say mine was a gift from Weber.
When he went to the demonstration, and so they gave that to him. And finally, in the cooking and food, of course, we can't get away without mentioning something that's coffee related. If you've been around here for a really long time, you know that I am a huge fan and supporter of the small business in Kansas City that's called The Roastery. It's a Kansas City owned, Kansas City loved coffee shop that has many locations across, but they roast their own beans. They do themed beans around different events in the city. They're very Kansas City, but I love their beans. I've had a lot of coffee from a lot of places all over this country, and I continue to go back to the roastery year after year after year for the coffee that I love to drink at home. I think they are hands down some of the best coffee you will ever drink. They don't know this. I just love them. They're not sponsored in any way. They're just an amazing place. They air roast their beans. And they do, so if you have someone who loves coffee, they do these, what they call their roastery brew bundle. And it is a pound of their coffee, or I think it's 12 ounces is their smallest one. It's the regular size coffee. And then a coffee mug. The Beddy is my favorite non-holiday. Obviously, the holiday blend and the autumn harvest are two really good seasonal blends they do. But the Beddy is the one that I drink all year long when those are not available. And so they have this Beddy roastery brew bundle, which is a package of the coffee. You can get it whole bean or ground. And then it comes with a really lovely coffee mug that is all designed around the Beddy. And so this is, to me, like just one of those gifts, again, where someone wouldn't necessarily buy for themselves, but it can introduce them to a really great cup of coffee, and then have just like a really nice little coffee mug to go with it to remind them of the person that gifted them one of the best cups of coffee they will ever drink.
All right, moving on to camping gear. Let's start with lighting. You might have remembered recently I fresh tanked the new BioLite range headlamp. And headlamps are something that have really, really improved over the course of our time as campers. Now that you have lithium batteries and rechargeable and all that, there's no excuse now anymore to buy a headlamp that you have to put batteries in. It's just not worth it. And they have really come down in price too for the rechargeable ones. The rechargeable ones used to be $60-$70, and you can still find some up in that price range, but the range headlamps come between $25 and $50 depending on the one you get, and they are extremely bright. I have the Range 300 and love it. It's easily dimmable. It's fantastic. Also, BioLite makes one of our favorite camping light items, which is their solar string light. And it is a string light that wraps up, sort of gives you sort of like a festive string light around the campsite, but also has a solar panel on the end of it so it can recharge itself by just sitting it outside. We've had those for years and years and years and always been big fans of them. And then something that I don't own one of, but I've seen many in stores and I've seen people own them that I think would be a really great gift item because of their look, is these vintage style lanterns. They're actually LED and rechargeable and stuff, but they're vintage looking, like old fashioned railroad lamp, old fashioned camping lamp, made by a company called Barebones. And they all look they're all like bronze and black, and they're really, really gorgeous. They're kind of expensive, but they're really beautiful for like sitting out on your table.
But again, that's something that maybe you wouldn't buy for
would buy that for
yourself,
yourself. Yeah.
but what a great gift
Yeah.
to give someone. Like, and I have a feeling somebody put that on this list as because I've never heard of this, and so
I've showed you them
have you?
I showed you
Okay.
them in a store before, but
You're subliminally sending the message. Okay, I see you. I didn't realize we were doing that, but just remember, I like that smock apron.
Blankets are a thing that we absolutely love at the campground. And, sometimes they're not great. Sometimes the blankets that you might use outside aren't the greatest, but you'd want to have something that's going to kind of last and not going to pick up all the dirt and everything.
Yeah.
So we have 2 recommendations for blankets.
But I'm sure they're going to shock you. Like you've never heard of these brands before.
You might not have heard of this. You might not have heard of either of them. So
maybe
Rumpl has, we've recommended them before. So Rumpl makes puffy blankets, like a puffy jacket style, like almost sleeping bag style, but it's a blanket. And they have all sorts of different looks. So they have a great national park collection. So you could pick somebody's favorite national park and buy them a blanket based on their favorite national park, something like that. And they're great for outdoors. They're okay if you get a little water or snow on them.
They're
that kind
more
of stuff.
than okay. So my favorite thing, and one of the reasons why we continue all these years later to talk about our Rumpl blanket, is that not only do they hold up against the elements, but they hold up, they're machine washable.
They're not small, but they're small enough and light enough that you can put them in your washing machine.
Yes. Like I wash them at home.
Yeah.
I've washed them actually at a campground. I've washed them at a laundromat, and I've washed them in my own washer and dryer at home. And it is always held up. We've had this particular blanket now for a little over 3.5 years, and it looks just as great as the day we bought it. It's incredibly warm. It's my favorite go-to blanket when I want to snuggle up and get warm, either inside or outside. So their national park collection is beautiful, but they also have others. Maybe they have one that's called like the Baja, and perhaps you know someone that's about to head down to Baja or recently took their RV to Baja. What a great blanket to get them. Get them the blanket that's designed to have this beautiful coloring to remind you of Baja.
Like, where you go or where you're going next year or where you went this year. Those are all great reasons to get somebody one. Now, the other blanket that we've really come to love, we have a couple of these. It's from a brand called Beddy's. You may have heard of them. They do this sort of zip-on sheets for RV beds and for other beds as well, to make it a little bit easier to do your sheets and bedding for your beds. But their on-the-go blankets are not that at all.
No.
These are blankets that can be stuffed in a bag, but they're thin. And so it's a whole different thing than the Rumpl. They're not like a puffy blanket. They're thin blankets, but still have a good weight to them. Not a weighted blanket, but have a good weight to them. And they're 2-sided. So one side is kind of a really, really soft, sort of fuzzy, like stuffed animal type feel. And one side is a more traditional sort of cotton feel.
Yeah. And the one we really like, because they have them, so the one that will have just a solid color on one side, and then on the other side, it's going to have some kind of print. And they have this really cool sort of black and white cowboy Western looking print that reminds me very much of Colorado, Wyoming, Montana sort of area. And that is the one to me of all of them that feels the most RV. Like think of them, whereas you think of Rumpl as like a great indoor-outdoor blanket. I can take it anywhere. I can take it hiking. Shove it into its case. It folds down really tight. Think of this one as a really great throw blanket in the RV.
And it's not tiny.
It's not tiny. It's the exact same size. They're both, I think, something like 54 by or 58 by 74, I think is the.
Yeah. And I can't stand tiny throw blankets that I can't get over my feet. And I need to go over my shoulders and my feet.
Yes.
If it can't do both of those, then it's not big enough.
Yeah.
And both of these do that. And
this is the Beddy's one is just like a really nice kind of decorative piece as well, design piece to an RV. In addition to being a really warm blanket, it looks also really great kind of thrown over a chair or a couch or something.
Because it's thin, when it's still warm, but when you fold it up, it doesn't take any room at all.
No, we keep several blankets inside our little ottoman area, and they fold up just fine. So again,
that's Beddy's on-the-go blanket. And then the last in sort of the camping gear category, this is something that we've recommended over and over. And this is probably the number one thing. Like if somebody says, I know a camper and I need a gift for them. What can I buy them? And this is sort of quintessential. Most people would not buy them this for themselves, but would be really get a lot of great use and be overjoyed with the quality of this.
They'd be just chuffed.
It is the Solo Stove Roasting Sticks set. Most people would never think of buying premium hot dog and marshmallow roasting sticks.
No, they would not.
Solo Stove makes these roasting sticks that they screw together in the middle. So it does come apart 2 sections. They come in a little roll-up bag. They're like $60, so they're kind of expensive.
Probably more these days. Last time we checked, they were 60.
No, I checked this morning.
Oh, did you? Okay, great. Good, good.
It was like 63.
Oh, good.
Hi. Probably
no,
not.
probably not.
Somebody just walked in the door. Odd.
There you go.
We always have that door locked, but
my heart
nobody ever presses on that door. And the guy just came in the door.
My heart just stopped. Like I don't think it's still beating.
Yeah.
We should probably go lock that door.
Probably.
I'm going to go do that.
Okay.
BRB, everybody. Can I also just say, we're back. Can I just say too, that guy must have been like, what did I just walk
What
into?
did I just walk into?
It's like, why are these two people talking about roasting sticks?
Why do they have lights on them? Why do they have these big microphones in front of them?
What are these arms?
These
what are these people doing in Rock Island, Illinois?
Anyway, the Solo Stove Roasting Sticks, they're super premium. They work really well. They're not just for show. They actually are some of the best roasting sticks I've ever used. Most people would just buy cheap ones, but this is a good quality gift to give anybody.
Well, I think to put it into context in regards to quality, we've had these since 2019.
Yeah.
And we have taken them everywhere. We made space for them when we went to Baja to Alaska in our little 25. Like, that's how great they are. We've had them since 2019. We've had them for 6 years now. And they have held up. We have put them.
They look exactly the same.
They look great.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's the kind of gift that no one would think about getting, but it's a great quality gift that they will have for years and years to come.
Yeah. And it's secondary to that, Solo Stove also makes like a set of tongs and a poker. It's also very good.
So maybe if you have someone that's, not going to be doing a lot of roasting of marshmallows or hot dogs or something, then the tongs and the poker are really great because it can be used in any sort of fire setup. It doesn't have to be just a Solo stove.
If they have any sort of portable camp stove, it works well with if you've got a slinky stove, or if you just use the regular fire pits at the campgrounds. It's all great for that. They're just really, really great quality, whether you are into the whole portable fire pit thing or not.
Yeah.
Harvest Host is a membership that allows RVers to take a rest from the road and enjoy unlimited overnight stays at over 5,000 unique locations in North America, like breweries, farms, attractions, wineries, and much more. Easily plan and book your next RV trip and enjoy over $1,500 in exclusive member benefits by joining Harvest Hosts. Get 15% off your first year of membership with the code MILES. That's MILES. Go to harvesthost.com to become a Harvest Host member today. Okay, next up is memories. This is, I think, the category where you can really tug on someone's heartstrings.
Yeah, and Jason's not talking about Barbara Streisand here. Although maybe he is. Because we still have our children convinced that she is his favorite singer.
Why did you do that?
It's amazing. All these years later, I still have the children and I still are convinced that Jason is a massive Babs fan.
I can name like 2 songs.
You just named one right there.
I didn't even know that was a Barbara Streisand song.
I mean, it could also be from Cats.
Yeah,
there's so many things.
That song I know.
There's so many things. Anyway, but in regards to RVing, when we're talking about memories.
One of the biggest problems with our lives these days and the way that we keep our memories is that it's all digital. We take all these photos and they just sort of live on the internet. Or live on our hard drives or on our phones. Like, there's so many people that just like, their biggest concern when they buy a new phone is that all their photos will transfer over. First of all, get out of that. Figure out how to download the photos off your
Google
phone.
Photos. You should check it out. It's great.
But you can help somebody keep their memories in several ways. Photographs, big one. We have done a couple things in recent years that we really love. And One of them is something I did to surprise Abby recently. Is I printed out a couple photos onto these sort of aluminum, metal. There's no frame. It's like a floating sheet of aluminum that you get a print put on. And I used a company called MPix. There are plenty of other companies out there that do this. But if there's a photo that you have of them or that they have of their travels that they love, that would be great to blow up large and put on their wall. It's not cheap. It's going to cost you like $150 to do, one big one. You can do small ones. And, but this is going to be a piece that's going to last forever for them. And my biggest suggestion to you is if you do this, you go with a company like MPix. They're a photo lab. We still have those. They will do retouching for you. Let them do the retouching for you because there are, and I learned this the hard way, but one of our prints I'm not happy with because I just did it on my own. And there are differences in like the brightness and contrast that you don't know of when you print out on aluminum. But one of our biggest concerns when we got rid of the ibex was that we put all these wonderful stickers on the back of the ibex from all these great places we went up and down the West Coast. So what I did was I took a photo of that just before we got rid of it. And then I blew that up and surprised Abby with that. And so that is one sort of way. And now another thing you can do, if you do want to keep stickers and not get into the situation that we got into, is something, again, we've talked about in the past that we really love, a company called Rivet Supply Company. And they make something called their adventure board. And what it is it's a board that comes in, it's a plexiglass sheet, comes in different colors and styles. You can get they have a cutout on the top that's either a wood scene, mountains or the ocean. And you can get it in a sort of more horizontal or more vertical one. And this is a board that is meant to go on your RV refrigerator. You can put it on a wall. You could put it on the inside of the door to your rig. And it's a board that you're meant to put all those stickers that you collect on. So once it fills up or once you sell your RV, you get to keep it with you.
Yeah, we keep ours right by the door, going up the steps into the front cap of the RV. And when we were out on our travels or anytime we're somewhere and the 37 RV miles is with us, we get a sticker and we put it on the board. And it's really nice to be able to look at those stickers in there and kind of harken back to the time that we bought it or the place that we were at. And, I will say the photo that Jason did of the stickers on the back of Bexy was incredibly special because I was pretty heartbroken that we had decided to do that and not try to save those stickers because they were incredible places we had been. And those memories were, of course, are always like the corners of my mind. They're still there, but I had to work it in somewhere. I do love when I get Jason dropping his head in laughter.
That's the
because
song.
he's
Okay,
so
now I know.
There
Now I know. Now I know.
Misty watercolored memories.
No.
So I love having this adventure board. And then the map that they do is really similar. So for a really long time, and many of you might remember, we have a map of the US that was a scratch off one and it was not super big. It was probably 11 by 17, maybe a little bit smaller. And we would scratch off each state that we went to. And then there would be something just kind of like a natural topography underneath it. And we loved that, but it got beat up pretty quick.
Yeah, you nick that thing and you scratch the surface of that state.
It's on the wall now in our house, and I think I'm actually going to frame it because it's starting to get pretty torn up. It's been pretty torn up. We've had it since we were in the bus, so we've had it since like 2016. Yeah. But this is really great. The adventure board, because it's the plexiglass, it's durable. It's going to come with the stickers. There's a couple of different options you can get.
Just to be clear, so what we were talking about was the board that you save your stickers on.
Yes.
And then they have their adventure map, which is a U.S. map that, like people have the stickers of the state maps that they put on the outside of their RV. Sometimes this is something very similar to the adventure board where you can collect the states that you've gone to and then you get to keep that afterwards if you sell your RV. It's not just stuck to your RV.
No, it's not. Thank you for organizing all of my thoughts for me. That's why you put this episode together and I did not.
They're very premium. They're kind of expensive, but they personalize them. So you have your name on it, whatever, you get the different shapes. And if you don't want to make a choice for somebody on the different personalizations or whether they want a map or a board, they also have gift cards as well.
And it's nice to be able to support a small business, and Rivet Supply Company is a small business. So next, let's talk about our public lands, national park loving individual in our life. And the biggest thing, we're going to recommend one thing and one thing only for our national park people. And that is a membership to one of the nonprofit partnerships of particular parks out in the National Park Service. A lot of the major ones have them: Grand Canyon, Zion, Yellowstone, Yosemite, Voyagers, actually Gateway Art. Pretty much all of them actually have them. So if you know someone who has a particular national park that they truly love, we would recommend that you get them a membership through the nonprofit that supports that park. So we're going to use Yellowstone Forever as an example. We became members of Yellowstone Forever when we were in Yellowstone back in May. One thing about a membership, before we talk about all of the extras, is much like when we talk about mile marker, we didn't get the membership because we wanted all the extras. We got the membership because the money stays with the park. And that's something that's really important, I think, when you have someone that loves the national parks, when you can give them a membership and know that you're putting that money back into a thing that that person really appreciates, supports, and loves. I think that that's an incredible gift for our public lands people.
And I think that one thing too about the nonprofit partners is that the National Park Service can only go so far in the types of decisions they make about the projects to pursue. And the nonprofit partners can do some of the more interesting projects that need to be done that are harder for the federal government to sort of run through the red tape system to get done.
Well, they can also advocate a little bit more on behalf of the park than the actual park can for itself. So we think that that's something too, where they can do a little bit more, they can be a little bit more vocal. They can pursue projects like you were talking about that maybe the park can't pursue, but all of that does cost money. So when you gift someone a membership to one of the nonprofits at a park, you're not only keeping that money there so that they can do work on behalf of the park, but in instance for Yellowstone Forever, your Yellowstone Forever comes with early registration for the Yellowstone Forever Institute field seminars. You got a $15 discount on field seminars and private tours. You get a 15% discount on merchandise at all park store locations, including the online store, and discounts at over 500 participating public land stores across the country. So when we bought our Yellowstone one, we were able to use it at Devil's Tower. And then we used it. Where else did we use it?
I can't remember, but we did use it a couple others because that was towards the end of our trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get a discount. There's a whole network of partnership stores. There's like over 500 locations. I actually think it's over 600 now.
Yeah.
That all work together so you're going to get a discount on most of the national park stores that you would go to.
And one of the things we were able to get a discount on was we bought the membership and it applied immediately. Like we didn't have to wait until we got a card or anything like that. Like, as we had the membership and we ended up buying some art at Yellowstone at the gift store there that I actually didn't expect to be part of the 15% because we really like this artist. Her name is Carol Hagan, Hagan, and she sells her stuff at Yellowstone. And it's, again, aluminum metal prints, very similar to V. Ray, who we were introduced to when we went to Alaska, V.RAE. And we went to go buy this piece of art that we wanted to have. It was this beautiful moose. And they gave us 15% off of that. We did not even expect that to be a part of this discount. But when they said anything in the store, I was going to think it would just pertain to maybe like the mugs and the keychains and the magnets.
Yeah, it was a good deal. And you also get like with the Yellowstone one's a great one because especially if it's somebody near that area, it comes with a library card to the Yellowstone Heritage and Research Center, which is I have never been, but like the photos online I've seen of their collections, incredible, and really would love to get up there and spend some time. But if somebody lives near a national park, this is a really great option for them.
Yeah. So next up is everyone has to have a travel day. If you tow an RV, you have a travel day. So if you've got RVers in your life, why not put together some sort of travel day pack? Or these could even be great little stocking stuffers, but you could put a gift basket together that would have some travel day essentials. Maybe consider getting them, a 1 or 2, 3 month subscription to Audible so that they can listen to whatever books they might like to. The Audible collection of free stuff over the last couple years has just blown up. I am listening to The Mistletoe Murders right now, and it is all free. It is crazy the amount of
It's
original.
ridiculously bad, but okay.
Stop it. Stop it. It's so great.
I listened to some of that with you. That was like a Hallmark movie in audiobook form.
Yeah, it was. And I'm not even angry about it. In fact, Hallmark turned it into a series.
I was listening to that with you, not to poo-poo on this at all. More,
wow,
but
really way to convince people to do this.
I was listening to that. I'm going to poo-poo on that whatever that was, that book. I thought when I was sat in the car with you and then started playing and I'm listening, I'm like, is this an AI voice?
Stop. We're done.
And then I look, it's Colby Smulders.
Stop.
And are you kidding me?
Yes. Stop. And I'm telling you, this episode is going to turn into 3 hours. Listen, the reason why I like it, and I told you this when you were getting all like Shakespearean on me and fluffy high art. And I said to you, what's great about things like that and some of these Audible originals is that
was so
it
bad.
Was not. The stakes are low.
The stakes are
so low.
I don't know. There were people dying in explosions in this one.
Murder mystery. But you can be doing something like a puzzle or washing dishes, or it's something that you can have in the background where if a kid comes up and talks to you for a second and they want you to look at the 22 dragons that they just drew in a book, you can still have that, come back to it and not have lost your place. It is
okay.
Anyway,
they have other books on Audible. Is my point. They have good books.
Yes.
But for the good books, you have to pay for the subscription.
Not all. There's plenty of Audible originals that would meet all kinds of tastes. A gas gift card would be really great. We all have to fuel up. Maybe even putting together like a basket of your favorite road snacks, or maybe their favorite road snacks, a gift card to Buc-ee's. A car safety kit could be a really great gift to put together or to include in this basket, especially if they live in winter climates. Like those packets of hand warmers can be really great, or just maybe some extra, a windshield scraper or what, just little things like that again, we wouldn't necessarily think to buy for ourselves. But when you get it in this little basket of just random sort of great stocking stuffer items, I think that that's really fun. Like if a gift card to Buc-ee's, go get some beaver nuggets, have a brisket sandwich. There you go.
Yeah.
And they'll think of you when they're well fed, listening to the Mistletoe Murders as they're driving to their next destination.
All right. So we're going to finish up with 2 really expensive items. So this is sort of the big ticket item category. One of them's still a pretty good deal, and that is an e-bike from Lectric e-bikes. We now have the Lectric XP4s, which is sort of the bike that they came out with a couple months ago. Is the 4th edition of the Lectric bike, and I really think Lectric has figured e-bikes out now.
Yeah,
really
this is
well.
a great bike. I love this bike.
And the price is it's $9.99. And you can get more expensive e-bikes out there. And they have the perfect setup for a normal person that wants to ride a bike, to have the extra range and the ability to go long distances without having to, be super fit and all that. And what's great for me, if
we can bike it, you can bike it.
I'll ride mine too. So I come down to the office here from home. I mean, it's a like a 17-minute drive. So, it takes me a little under an hour on the bike. Actually significantly under an hour,
Yeah.
but like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So it's we're down by the river. The office is down by the river, and our house is up at the top of the valley.
The top of the
So
mountain.
it's a big, I mean,
The
it's
Davenport Mountain.
I think it's like a 500 foot drop
Yeah.
down here. So I
Something.
mean, we're not mountains, but it is a significant long way downhill on my way here. Pedaling back home on a regular bike would be very difficult for me.
You wouldn't be doing it,
even
babe.
in my more fit days.
It's like, I don't think you'd be doing it.
And what's nice about having an electric bike, and I think people think of electric bikes as copping out sometimes, but like,
I don't care.
for me, like, I wouldn't ride a regular bike to work because I'm trying to look nice for a video and stuff. I can actually use the electric power on my way here and not break a sweat. And then on my way home, even though I'm going uphill, I can turn the power down a little bit and actually get a workout on my way home.
Yeah, it's nice.
So you can kind of double up on it, but they're foldable. So people have found ways to cram them nicely into RVs, and they're great ways, especially for somebody that has, a small motorhome and they don't have a car with them, to get around.
They are a little heavy, so take that into consideration. They have a battery, so, and they are durable, but they're a great gift for someone who maybe needs a little bit mobility help, or, just to get out and wants to take a long bike ride and not be exhausted.
I wish when we were at Zion National Park, staying at the Watchman Campground down there, the bus system works really well. But if you have a bike, you can just go wherever you want on a bike. Would have loved that, and we didn't have them back then. And it would be great.
Looks like we got to go back.
And they do great holiday sales. They keep the price the same, but they just include a bunch of extras for like bags and things like that.
So check it out. If someone is interested in an e-bike, this is the brand we recommend. Go check out Lectric.
And finally, this is a super big ticket item. If you have,
this is Jason's dream item.
This is only on here again because it's a hint for Abby for one day.
Oh, I don't need the hint. I'm well aware of how much, and they're beautiful. So we're talking about Navarro Canoes.
So they're a great little company that is just down the street from us.
They are down, literally just blocks from
Navarro, for 50 years, they've been making handcrafted canoes. They're not just like wood canoes. There a lot of different places make wood canoes, and those are very beautiful, and they're art pieces. But Navarros are sort of kind of a hybrid, and they're really meant to use. They're showpieces as well, but they want you to use them, and they're kind of a hybrid of a wood canoe. They've got the look of a wood canoe, but they're also using fiberglass and Kevlar to make it really durable. And we first found out about them because they've always had one in our airport. Yes. And we see it in the airport lobby all the time. But then we saw this great documentary at this little independent movie theater that we have here that you can check out online. It's fantastic. It's called the Columbia River Canoe Project, and it's these two young boys, early 20s, that canoe the length of the Columbia River. One of them who had never canoed before. Yeah,
I mean, they're cousins, I believe. And one was quite young, like a teenager. And it was a way to raise awareness about the Columbia River and some of the impacts that damming the Columbia River has had to it over the years. And so they made this documentary, and Navarro was a part of this. Navarro helped them make this happen.
Not only did they give them a canoe, they helped produce the movie.
Yeah. And so we were able to see this as a premiere over at the Last Picture House here. And the canoes are beautiful. I mean, and I highly recommend, I think we fresh tanked this documentary when we saw it over the summer. It's a fantastic documentary. And one of the cool things about these canoes is not only the craftsmanship of them, but they can be personalized in color. You can have them engraved.
Yeah, and part of the buying experience they have, you can do one of two things. You can come here and then like tour the factory and watch yours being finished and that sort of thing. Not a factory, it's a workshop.
It's a workshop, yeah.
Or their other buying experience is you pick your canoe up on a canoe trip. So they take you on a canoe trip in Wisconsin somewhere. Your hotel is included and all that sort of stuff. And you go on a canoe trip for the first time with experienced guides. And I think that, like, if you're looking for a really big gift, I mean, we're talking several $1,000s here.
Yeah, I think the canoe itself is like $3,000.
A little more.
Maybe
And
just the paddles.
so this is you're talking about a $5,000-$6,000 thing here, where you're giving somebody an art piece that's going to last generations. But then you're also sending them on a trip and an experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really cool thing that I would just love to do one day.
Yeah, we hope maybe one day to go down and take a tour of their workshop and have them just come on the podcast and talk about the making of these, because they are beautiful. We've met the owners a couple times when we went to the documentary. There was a after party and Jason chatted with them for quite some time. So they're really great people rooted here in the community. Another small business that's doing craftsmanship that's a little bit of a lost art in some respects. These sort of like really personalized, made just for you pieces of art. And
they will also ship them to you wherever you are.
Yeah.
So, you know, if it's not something you plan on coming here for, but if anybody does this and you come here to pick it up, we'd be happy to meet you and hang out and have dinner or something like that as well.
That would be incredible, just to see you receive such a beautiful gift. So that is the 2025 holiday suggestions. Gift suggestions, I should say.
But also for like whenever. Birthdays, like, this doesn't need to be holiday stuff.
Just thinking of you gift, just anything. But if you've got RVers in your life and you're stumped on what to get them, or that's the RVer who maybe has everything and you want to get them something that, they wouldn't necessarily get for themselves, then this is the list for you. Okay, it is time to check the level of our tanks, and that is sponsored by our friends over at Liquefied RV Toilet Treatment, the no BS toilet treatment. You can find Liquefied at liquefiedrv.com. Okay, Jay, what is in your black tank this week?
My black tank is the rare fresh tank turned black tank. Because we fresh tanked this a while back, and I'm really disappointed in this product. We fresh tanked the Enso rings. So there's, the silicone rings, and there's other brands of silicone rings, and I'm going to try a different brand because I'm really disappointed in. Now I've had 2 Enso rings break. The first one I feel like was my fault. The second one, it feels like it's kind of disintegrated because we had the Star Wars one, so they had like the Arabesh writing that said "I love you" and I
Geek
know.
alert.
And the one I have is only months old, less than a year old.
Yeah,
and you cannot read the writing anymore, and it had developed a crack, and it's not usable. So.
And it's weird because I have the same one, and I've actually been wearing this one the same amount of time. And it's primarily like today I don't have it on. I have my regular band on today, but I pretty much only wear that 24/7. I sleep in it. I wash dishes in it. The only thing I don't do that you do is I do not wear that ring in the shower.
Yeah, but
I take it off, but it shouldn't matter because I wash dishes. Yeah, and mine looks brand new. Mine has no issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I wash dishes with mine, which is no different than taking a shower. So I don't.
If you have them and you bought them because of our suggestion, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't wear it in the shower. I guess maybe that was my issue.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's really weird. I mean, literally the entire writing has gone off yours and there's a crack. So hopefully that's not going to happen. Maybe it's just a 2-time fluke for Jay in this particular style. All right. What is in your fresh tank this week?
This would be another gift to give somebody that if they're a truck owner or any vehicle owner. We got these last year and I was happy with them last year, but now that we've had another really big snowstorm this year, we just got through actually a few different snows. This is E-Trailer's windshield cover that's meant for snow. So it's kind of like a windshield shade that, you put on the inside to keep the sun out, but this actually goes on the outside of your windshield. And when it snows, when it dumps a ton of snow on your truck, I mean, it takes forever to clean off the truck.
Yeah.
Especially with like the tonneau cover. We had a foot of snow on the tonneau cover, had to get all of that off. the windshield, all you got to do is take the cover off and the
It's
snow's gone.
great.
Fantastic, fantastic product. There are other brands that make them, but I really like the way e-trailers are made and the shape of them. And they just kind of, you close the doors on the either end of them and you're pretty much done. And they're great. So again, it's e-trailers windshield cover. They're like $25.
Yeah, that would be a great gift
Yeah.
for people too. Fantastic.
Yeah. All right. What's in your black tank this week?
Okay,
Abigail?
this is not RV related, but it is cook related and it is social media related. And I just need to talk to my home cooks out there. And I need you all to understand that cream cheese is not the answer to every single recipe. Okay? Like I know the minute my home cook gal gets started and she pulls out that crock pot and she's like, I'm going to make you this 5-minute dinner and it's going to be amazing. I know that at least one block of cream cheese is going into that crock pot.
That's a lot of cream cheese.
And I just need us to find an alternative or stop with the cream cheese recipes.
I don't like cream cheese.
I know you don't, but maybe it's because I live in a particular area. And so,
I don't know.
the Facebooks or the Instagrams
think
think
the
this is what
algorithms are pushing those harder because it gets like the dramatic comments of
Yeah,
all the people
which-
saying stop with the cream cheese already. Because then you'll see ones that are like, well, this has got 4 blocks of cream cheese in it. Yeah.
You're absolutely
And
right.
a whole box of Frosted Flakes. And
I will tell you, I'm not someone that comments. Generally, I'm like, I know your game. Like, you didn't need the 4 blocks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are, and I actually just made a casserole recipe last week that had cream cheese in it. And I was thinking to myself,
yeah.
This was a recipe that has been a casserole recipe that I have known since my childhood. So cream cheese is not a new thing.
No.
And like one of the appetizers my mom had out on Friday was a block of cream cheese with pepper jelly poured over it.
Not every casserole needs cream cheese.
No, not every casserole. And at this point, it's just a clown show. Like it's become a clown show. So just know that not only my home cook friends stop with the cream cheese, but also
I think it's the recipe version of rage bait. I think it's
it is the absolute. But the other day I showed you one and I was like, this is designed just to get people to scream about what they're putting here. Cause it was cream cheese, a whole bag of like shredded cheese. Like it was a stick of butter. And I was like, what are you making? Like, where is this even going?
Yeah. And it's like spaghetti.
They were like, it's pasta primavera. And you're just like, what are you even talking about?
A little splash of milk, okay?
Yeah,
We don't need
and look, I'm trying to keep it healthy, so I'm going to sprinkle in all these frozen vegetable mix with like that's 90% green beans and like.
We all know how Abby feels about green beans.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're making a green bean casserole. Delicious.
All
Wow.
right, what's in your fresh tank this week?
So my fresh tank would also make a really wonderful gift if you have someone in your life who is like me that is currently in their puzzle era. And I am.
You are solidly in your puzzle era now.
Solidly. I have embraced it and I love it. And you know what? This actually happens. It's every winter. I get like, I don't want to leave the house. I just want to get cozy and wear my slippers and do something. And I thought maybe for a while I was going to become someone who knits. Like maybe I'd learn how to crochet or I'd learn how to knit because everyone says it's so soothing. And I was like, this is the most infuriating thing. And I hate everything about knitting and I hate everything about crocheting. Why would I do anything like this? And then I was like, but you know what I do love? Puzzles. I love puzzles. And so puzzles have become like my comfort version. And there is where I'm going with this is there is a particular publisher that I am obsessed with right now. And it's out of the UK. They do have a US affiliate and it's called Lawrence King, Laurence, Lawrence King Publishing.
I think he goes by Larry King.
Well, you would know. You would know. You're the one who's talked to Larry King, not me. So I'm just saying, you've had a conversation with Larry King. I have not.
Larry King's dead. Okay.
Well, this is true, but this could be his legacy living on. I seriously doubt it though. But it's Lawrence King Publishing, and they do these literary puzzles, and the illustrators that they hire to do these puzzles are they do beautiful work. These are beautiful puzzles, but it's like the world of Charles Dickens, the world of Jane Austen, the world of Sherlock Holmes, the world of James Bond, the Great Gatsby, Agatha Christie. It's all kinds of different like literary, a book lover's Christmas. Like, so if you have someone in your life that's really into books, and also this could be a really wonderful gift for them. They're about $25 a piece. You can get them at Barnes & Noble. You can get them online. But I just think that they're really beautifully constructed puzzles. I
like that there is like, once the puzzle's done, there's like, okay, now there's an after activity. Like you go through, it's almost like a Where's Waldo, where you find all the individual things related to the story. And it's more than just like, I'm trying to complete this photo of a mountain or something like that. There's
and it's
more.
1,000 pieces, so it's quite intricate. And we did 2 of them over the Thanksgiving holiday. I actually just finished the second one yesterday morning. Like, I keep getting up early before everybody else so I can drink coffee for a little bit and work on the puzzle. But it's just a really nice way to, and I'm trying to do more of this, to disconnect from the social media world, from the virtual world, and just do something that my mind is just focused on this one project. And I'm, learning how to just pay attention to one thing for longer than 45 to 3 minutes. So I love these puzzles. I highly recommend them. They make beautiful gifts. And you should gift yourself one and enjoy a little puzzle with me over the winter season.
That's it for this week's episode of the RV Miles podcast.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for joining us. And hey, if you're enjoying RV Miles and you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. If you are OG and you're listening to this in your car or in your headphones, could you go over to Apple Podcasts, please, and leave us a 5-star review? We really appreciate these reviews because what they do is they tell Apple and that, hey, this is a podcast that's worth listening to. And then we get shared around a little bit more, and it helps us find new RVers out there and continue to grow this amazing community. So thank you to all of you who have done that both on YouTube already and over on Apple Podcast. We really appreciate you. So until next week, friends, please stay healthy, get out there and find those wonderful gifts for your loved ones, and keep logging those RV miles.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.